Okay, Crypto.XL, crypto. How you guys doing? We're back. We're back. Let's get it. Crypto, Crypto.XL. All right. All right, guys. How are you doing? Good day, good evening, good morning, depending on when you're seeing this video. It is currently the end of April, coming very close to the end, the 27th. Um, we are past the Bitcoin halving, and Bitcoin, as predicted, is going sideways, right? Now, again, to reiterate, Bitcoin is not predictable short term. Anything can happen short term, could go in either direction, to the upside or to the downside. And it could also wick in either direction. There could be a lot of fake outs, right? So we're currently experiencing the calm before the storm. If you look at the patterns, the prior patterns, it looks like we would head up for a while, then we would consolidate, and then right here it was a fake out. We broke down as a fake out, then we went back up. Now it looks like we're consolidating again, and instead of breaking up out of this ascending triangle, we broke down, and now we're consolidating. So at this point, more consolidation, more choppy action, and then we'll do a breakout. What I will say is you could look at this entire thing as a range, with a low of around 60,000 and a high around 72,000, right? So if I treat this as a range, I'll be looking at wicks on the downside as buying opportunities. So if we consider wicks on the downside to the lower end of this range as buying opportunities, that would mean we're in a buying opportunity right now. So taking emotions out of the equation and just making strategic, long-term, intelligent decisions, I would be accumulating right here. And if we look at the altcoins, considering which coins to accumulate, obviously we would want to pick really good coins that we think are going to garner us the most returns in this bull cycle. If we look at some coins that have been beaten up pretty badly, this is on the daily here. This is the 24-hour. We have Move that's down 30%, ZNN that's down 18%. DSLA is a banging coin that has good risk to reward over this cycle. Oh, by the way, I don't think I stated none of this is financial advice. This is just my opinion. I'm a crypto investor and enthusiast, and this is what gets me going. Is one of the many things, and I like talking about crypto, investing in and researching crypto. So take this as educational and inspirational content only. Okay, not financial advice. But moving along, DSLA, I believe, is a good risk to reward crypto where it could garner really, really, really good returns because it has a $4 million market cap. And well, basically, it's down a lot, right? It's down 18%, not down as much as the other coins I've mentioned before. But if you were to look in the 90 days, down 20%, and year to date is down 41%. So again, remaining stoic and buying when there are buying opportunities, buying when everyone's leaving the market, or YouTube views are down, not as many videos are being made, not as much chatter is going back and forth, and some of the top 10 heavy hitting cryptos have been down 60%, 70%. That's off the top of my head, guys. I can tell you, Change GPT. This is a darling of this bull run and the AI run. It's down heavily right now, right? AI tech down heavily. This thing was 50 cents recently. So I'm just naming some coins off the top of my head here. Those, by the way, those are two Patreon gems. And I would not let this opportunity pass me by. Moving on. Cambria is down 15%. Cat is down 12%. Caspa, again, Caspa is going to do extremely well or continue to do extremely well. I remember Caspa went on a run and it seemed like it escaped a lot of people, like the velocity was already going. It doesn't mean that this is the end of the downtrend for Caspa or any of the coins that I've mentioned. We can continue to go down. We can consolidate for another 2 months. But I would be growing my bag, taking my time. And the lower we go is the more opportunistic I'm going to become, is the more impatient I'm going to be with my buys. Okay, I want to do the opposite of what the market is doing. If the market is dumping, I'm going to be accumulating. And I'm going to be accumulating slowly because I don't know where bottom is, right? I could buy this today or buy any of these today and it goes down another 20%. Am I prepared emotionally for losing 20% of my investment? Am I going to am I going to be okay with that, or is the rest of my week just going to be down, right? I have to think about that before I buy. Maybe the 20% loss is too much for me. Maybe there's something I'd rather do with that money instead of risk it and risk losing 20% of my money, right? So maybe I'll just do what I enjoy doing or whatever I enjoy doing. If that's a vacation, or if that is ordering the food that I like, or electronics, or an outing, whatever it is, maybe I'll do that first. And then with a little bit of the money I have left, with the 15% I have left that is expendable money, maybe then I'll invest that into crypto, that if it goes down 20%, I don't care about it, right? Because I want to make sure the most important thing for me is that I'm emotionally balanced. And to be emotionally balanced, I can only risk funds that I'm not going to miss. If you understand what I'm saying, right? I know we're all going to miss any money that we lose, but if you lose money, make sure that it's a loss that is sustainable or that doesn't destroy you, right? Because if it's a loss that doesn't destroy you, then the thing could go down 20%, 30%, 40%, and you just don't care. And if you just don't care, people basically, if you look at the history of Bitcoin, right, the entire history, Bitcoin has had amazing price movements in the past bull markets. you know, Last market, I believe it was around a 20x. The market before that, by market, I mean bull cycle, right? Last bull cycle, it was around a 20x. The cycle before that, it was way more. It was something, I don't want to misquote it, but it was very high. It was something like a 60x, some ridiculous number, right? So, but the only people who are going to get those kind of returns are the people who could stomach the volatility, because it just doesn't go 20x, or the cryptos you invest in don't just go 20x, right? They'll do something like, if we take some extreme cases like DMTR or VIA, um, if you take those extreme cases, they'll end up going up 20x, right? And then they'll pull back 50%. And then you're kicking yourself because you didn't sell at the 20x and you're angry, right? Maybe it goes down 55% and now you feel like a moron, right? But then that same coin within another 6 months will go from that point and go up 45x from that point. And this is what I'm saying. In order to make those abnormal gains, the only way that you'll be able to do that is if you're able to detach your emotions away from your investment, which is a very difficult thing to do. And the only way to do that will it would have to be money that you're not stressed about, right? Now, which is kind of difficult because there are going to be points in this market where you're going to look at your portfolio and your portfolio is going to look like life-changing money. It's going to look like this is the kind of money where now your options, your work options have changed. You literally could decide, as far as career goals and whatever you want to do with your career, you could now have more flexibility because now you'll have time to think, if you're able to take some of that money. But I want to also say that everybody's goals are a little bit different, or to be more exact, the amount of funds that you need to meet your goals is different for everyone, right? So what I recommend is that you set up a plan right now if you have not before, but set up a plan to decide what is your goal. At what point do you become financially free? At what point are you able to make the kind of decisions that you want to make for your life and free up some time? Because I think one of the main objectives for everyone is time, right? To have free time. And this is not time to be lazy. You don't want free time to be lazy, but you want free time so you can decide what you do with your life. Because the one asset that we cannot buy back, there's two, right? There's time, right? There's time, and then there's health. But all of these are also related if you think about it, because you need time to take care of your health, right? But let's focus on time. So you cannot buy time, right? You could take the richest people on the planet. You take a rich, and the richest people of the planet, most of them are old, right? Most of them are 60s, 70s, maybe 80s, right? And I guarantee you, you go to the billionaires and these people with massive wealth, and you say to them, look, I can give you back 15 years of your life, but it's going to cost you 75% of your wealth. You go and you give this proposition to most billionaires, and I guarantee you, most of them will take that bet. And the reason why most of them will take that bet or take that offer is because they realize with all that time and with their knowledge, the wisdom that they have, the wisdom they have, and the knowledge they have, they could replace a lot of that wealth. They realize that they can replace the wealth or a lot of the wealth, but they cannot replace the time. So the objective of this bull run, and whether it's maybe this bull run gets you started, so you figure out the markets, you figure out investing, you figure out how to manage your time and your crypto. So this bull run gets you started, right? And then you save up a lot of money from this bull run, right? Because life is to be continued, unless something happens and deletes your game, right? Someone comes and pulls the plug out, but life is to be continued, right? So the objective for most of us is to make it in this market and to retire in this market. But even if we don't retire in this market, there will be another bull cycle. Okay, we're in a bull cycle now, right? But when this bull cycle is over, there's going to be another bear market. Some point there will be another bear market, right? Because this is how markets work. We have bull cycles, we have bear cycles, we have sideways before transition between the two. We have accumulation. Uh, we have the part where we have distribution, um, bear cycle, accumulation, bull cycle. That's the way that markets work. So that's going to happen anyway, right? So being that that's going to happen anyway, it's very simple. You In a bull market, we should have already accumulated because we're in a bull market now. And even if we haven't fully accumulated, we're in an accumulation zone in the altcoins in a bull market. So we still have some time to accumulate because you're seeing the altcoins drop depending on the coins. And I deal with a lot of small caps. I deal with the 100x gems, right? So if you look at a lot of these coins, they're down 60%, some 70%, right? And these coins are going to go back plus the 70%, and then it's going to 10x on top of that, right? So I'm looking at everything right now like a buffet. That's how I see the market. I'm looking and I'm salivating. I already have a decent portfolio, but I'm trying to figure ways to get more funds to even buy more because I'm looking at these coins and I'm like, there's no way that these people are selling these cryptos at these prices. Like, why are they doing that when we're still in the 4-year cycle? I don't get it. Now, short term, right? I said short term, I don't know what's going to happen in the market. There's no way to know that, right? So if Bitcoin crashes down to 52K, but I've already accumulated. And then I lose another 40% of my investment. I have to be okay with knowing that these are possibilities. But the way how I handle that possibility is I say, if it drops 40% and these are solid projects and we're in a bull market, this is my thesis, all right? This is my theory. If we're in a bull market and it drops another 40% and these are the top coins, that means that when I'm buying coins at that price, I don't need as much money to get the same amount of coins that I bought at a higher price. That's the way I look at it. So it's kind of training your mind to think inverse, right? So when I see red, especially extreme red, I see opportunity. I don't see mistake. Mistake is in, oh, I shouldn't have bought this stuff. Let me sell it now and not lose more money. The reason why I don't think that is because, again, it's my theory that we're still in a bull market. So my strategy works if we are still in a bull market. And I believe that we're still in a bull market. So short term, if we were to dip lower, because we've already dipped, right? Since we've already dipped and the altcoins got decimated, I accumulate more altcoins, right? Why? Because dips in a bull market are usually short term. Okay. So what that is a wick. If you look at it, you zoom out and you look at the monthly, that means that it's a wick. So then I buy during the wick, and then in a couple months, my buying turns into a 4x, right? So that's my theory. If you let's look at these monthly candles here, right? We've been up a lot, and then we have this huge red candle here, right? But you have to realize, guys, we've went from 15,500 to 72,000. Why would we think that we're not going to get a correction? I don't, I really don't understand the reasoning. Wouldn't you expect to get a correction at some point? Isn't that how markets work? And for most people, I know that because I've done the same thing too. I've looked at these coins and how they've gone up, and I've said, man, I wish I bought more. I wish I bought more here. I would have bought more. I should have bought more, right? And now we get a 70% correction in the top coins. Should I list them? AGIX, Chain GPT, DEX Check. I mean, I was going to say Solana, but Solana's price is so high, it's still pretty high. But Solana, what if Solana goes to over $1,000? Then it's still a good price, right? Still a good discount. So I just don't understand like the logic. If we're in a bull market and top projects drop 70%, and we're still in a bull market, doesn't that mean that the 70% loss is going to be wiped out within a few months? And doesn't that mean that from that point, from buying from this point, like let's say you had a project that was going to go 20x, right? Likely to go 20x. And then you get a 70% pullback on a project that is going to go 20x. So now instead of going 20x, you can make a 40x, you can make a 50x. I just and we find that bearish, or we're scared about that. I mean, I don't understand, guys. I really don't. Um, no one likes looking at their portfolio and seeing their portfolio down. I understand that. I could relate to that. I get that. I don't like it, but really, if you just think logically, like you take yourself out of the situation, take your portfolio out of the situation. Let's say hypothetically someone invested and they had an opportunity to buy their favorite projects or the best projects that are going to perform the best at a 70% discount, and the pullback's only short term. Isn't that great? I mean, all right. So the other scenario I said, so I buy now and it drops more. Then guess what, guys? I buy again. Okay, let's go on with a few more altcoins. I had to talk about that because again, this is a good opportunity, but I know people are worried. And that's why most people don't make money in crypto. The emotions, there's too much money invested, then the market crashes heavy, or Bitcoin is only down, it's not even down that much, but the altcoins, especially the small caps, are down like 70%. So people are like, let me save what I have left, and then they sell their whole portfolio, only to realize that within 2 months the 70% came back as green, and now it's up 140%, and now it's up, and then it's going to come back down again, and then it goes up 400%, and they say, oh my god, I better get back in. And they get back in, and they end up losing 20%. And that's how markets work, guys. um, by the way, there's tremendous FUD out there. I could talk about the crypto news and what's going on with all the FUD, but again, guys, it's just FUD. I guess I will mention it because it's on people's minds, right? What's my thoughts on Biden's 45% capital gains tax? Um, my thought is that it will never pass. It won't pass, at least not this cycle. There will be a riot if that were to actually hit Congress and pass. So of course we're talking about the United States laws, right? And there are laws on investments. So Biden's proposed 45% tax on capital gains, and also a 25% tax on unrealized capital gains, which would mean that should your portfolio go up 20%, and you made, let's say you made $20,000 because your portfolio went up 20%, but you didn't sell, right? Because that, like what recently happened in the market, right? The market went up, Bitcoin went up tremendously, and you had paper gains, and your paper gains went up tremendously. If this was law, you would have paid your tax rate on that 20%, or capital gains tax rate at that 20%. I guess they would probably in the future try to increase the tax rate too. Um, but again, it's not, I don't think these kind of things will happen because it's too draconian, it's too far out there, it's too insane, and more than half the country will be against it. Even if you had the majority of the country that don't care, or because most people don't have that much to invest in the first place, or they're not in the markets like that heavily in the first place, where it will really affect them, so they might not care. It still will not pass because the rich and the rich are the powerful that run the world. And most people that became rich came rich because they were strategic and they were long-term thinkers. So the strategic and the long-term thinkers, they're playing chess. Okay, so it might be a false flag. I'm not exactly sure why this is happening, but it's a signal to me that the Democrats probably will not retain the office in the United States, because that's something that you say when because it's going to cause so much outrage that it could threaten your incumbency, right? And by the way, the political cycles happen every 4 years anyway, where you have Democrat, Republican, 4 years back and forth. So I don't think it's going to go through. That all being said, I'm not saying that to say which one's better, Democrat or Republican. I really do not care as much, even though deeper I do have my personal views because I'm in crypto, right? Um, this is not a political channel. What I will say is, again, I think it's manipulation, and I think it's manipulation on both sides, not just any one side. I think it's divide and conquer. If you look at the history of the United States, especially the past 40 or so years, you would see that the country's become more divided. It's become divided between the sexes, right? Male versus female, and you can study that too. You can study that all day, right? Um, they have race issues. Again, if you look at the very terminology of the term black, and then you look at the terminology of the name white, and then you look at the terminology of the word race, so polar opposites. Black is opposite to white, and they're in a race. So the people that created this system, it's also created to other systems, and it could go. I could go really in depth about it. It's basically divide and conquer, and basically you keep the pawns so distracted with trivial things that really do not matter, and you have them fight amongst themselves. And since they're busy fighting amongst themselves, they don't realize that they're really slaves. That's really how it boils down. So all of this division that you see going on is really it's mind games, and it's manipulation. Um, so I don't want to get too much in depth into it because I could end up going on for a very long time. But when you have some time, you can do independent research on it if you would like. But to make a long story short, this is a buying opportunity. Okay, I've mentioned a few coins here. The Patreons know what the top gems are. Um, Shout out to VIA. I'm going to give you guys that for free. VIA is down tremendously right now, and oh man, I don't know. I don't know. You guys are not buying this. I don't know, man. I'm sorry, guys. Like no one else sees this. Even if let's say that it went down 50%. Let's say the price dropped 50%. Even if you bought at 60 cents, you still this is a hell of a deal. Even with the dilution. By the way, this market cap is wrong. It's about twice this, right? So let's say what would that make it? Let's say let's say 10 to 15% of the supply is out and you have dilution. Even with this price, you know where the price is going to go during this bull run? By the way, VIA gives access to, they have a launch pad, and they're given access to pre-sales and seed sales. These things are going to be going 50x, 60, 70, maybe 100x, and you're going to be able to get in on the ground floor, right? So it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter what the price is, but I mean, if it's getting beaten up like this, I don't. No one else sees this, and they're selling. There's people are selling VIA, guys. They're selling. This thing went up to $2.60, right? Now you can get it for 60 cents, one fourth the price. And folks are like, I don't know if what did these people say? Someone said it was a scam. Man, this is why 90% of the people don't make money in crypto. Because now when they should be buying, they're selling. They're literally selling, guys. They're selling right now. I could go on, man. I'm going to mention a few more since I'm live. Why not, right? Metados, second. People are not buying second right now. Why? Guys, all of these prices that I'm seeing, I'm just like, buy, buy, buy. that's, that's what I'm doing. People are leaving crypto YouTube. They're not watching videos as much. They're tuning out, and they're going to do something else. And those same people, a couple months from now, they're going to come right back. And they're going to come back when the decimal points moved over here and then moved over here. And they're going to be buying the top. And that's how markets work. When it's bottom, I don't care, guys. I don't care when the bottom is. I don't. I don't care what the bottom price is. The reason why I don't care is because that's beyond my, what do I know? I don't control what the price of Bitcoin is. And I don't control what the manipulators are doing, right? All I know is that we have a 4-year cycle, and I'm going to follow the 4-year cycle. It works every time, and it's the same cycle over and over again, and people are selling. I don't understand it, man. I just don't get it. Why? Well, anyway, my Patreons are not selling. Shout out to you. Big up to you guys, man. And I hope all your dreams and aspirations come through. I will be catching you next time. I'm glad I did a video today, and I will see you on top. Crypto.XL.